Hey everyone, have a here bring a video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, it is time once again for another edition of Best Teams on Global. This is the December 2024 edition, so with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in. And yes, I know it's been a little while since I've done a full version of Best Teams, but a little extra treat for everyone because I'm kind of going to go through a top 15 because there's a lot of teams out there right now that's very useful that really does not get a lot of notoriety. So I will go through the list of some honorable mentions, but we're going to go through, I think, 5 honorable mentions. So, but before we get into that, the term best teams is my opinion and is purely subjective. There's no official tier list or best teams rankings from Akatsuki or Bandai. How I build my teams, I look at a multitude of different things: leader skill, damage, defense, special skills, bench and strength is very important, game mode effectiveness, overall gameplay. Right now, how things are working out, most of you guys probably don't even run supports on the end game. For example, red zones and blue zones, all those things. Support is for general gameplay. You don't have to run a support. My teams will show a support, but you probably should bring in another defensive unit on that spot. But defense first position more important than attack, and then of course a mix of defense and attack, and then of course you have your floaters and your flexes right here. Now, when you look at last month, right? Last month this was a very quick review, right? I didn't dive into deep. This was very abbreviated, and this is ended up what the teams actually ended up being. I will tell you what, the top 5, there are changes, but the bottom is the most changing out of all these teams here. A lot of these teams aren't even on the best teams anymore, so it's going to be very interesting. This is really the reasons why I went kind of like top 15. So anyway, a lot of things have changed since I've done a full version of this. For example, this right here, the boosted for limited time on these EZA LRs, this is going to be considered in these best teams. However, if you guys are going to be watching this later on, once these are dropped for the boosted for limited time and basically at the 10-year anniversary or at the right before the 10-year anniversary, it's no longer going to be useful. Go ahead and remove these units off from the list, because again, they won't be boosted anymore. So, and of course on global, finally we get to catch up to JP, and we have the blue zone with the Goku and Frieza. This is a very tricky fight here, right? You have Android 17 locking your positions. Then you have Golden Frieza and Android 17, a guaranteed hit, can't dodge during that time. So you kind of need certain units. For example, Tech UI Goku is very important for that. Or you could get lucky and not get super attack. But if you do even get hit, he does quite a bit of damage when his attack. And of course, Goku and Frieza in of itself, if you don't do enough damage, you're not going to hurt them. It's just going to be 0. So certain teams just did not do well on that. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the, in a sense, top 15, right? The honorable mentions in terms of this. So the first one, I do just need to bring this up, right? Because I'll tell you what, Power of Wishes have lasted a very long time, right? 8-year anniversary units, Power of Wishes, and Battle of Fate. This team has struggled getting in and out of the top 10. It's dropped tremendously, right? Even though with the 10-year anniversary or upcoming 10-year anniversary limited time boost units, in this case I'm showing Super Saiyan, the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, but of course you probably would maybe even prefer Beerus over here or MUI Goku, stuff like that. But I just wanted to kind of showcase that it did get a little bit boosted, but still not quite there, being that the Vegeta and Goku down there does cause some issues because his damage mitigation is 550%. It's just the rest of it, and he's not doing that much damage either. So anyway, coming in as honorable mention, it is still Power Wishes, Battle of Fate, still a good team, but didn't crack the top 10. Another team that just needs the honorable mention here is the Pepigao / Turtle School DB Saga team with Master Roshi. This is also a very, very good team. Master Roshi definitely underrated However, again, there are much better teams out there. The bench strength is not very good if you don't have these particular units. And of course, this is in a sense a semi-usable unit or more usable unit because of the limited boost to Super Saiyan 4 Goku. If you don't have him, you can run like maybe a Videl and things of that nature, and they wouldn't even be thought of in a top 15 or even a top 10. Moving along, so you can say this is a Goku focus team. Let's go ahead and talk about the Vegeta focus team. Again, this is also another team that's very fun to use, one of my favorite teams to run. However, again, cracking the top 10 is going to be very difficult, being that the Big Bang Vegeta is kind of locked into to the first position. And if he gets locked out of that, especially in Goku and Frieza, it becomes very problematic. And then damage output, really, fortunately you have Evolution Vegeta, and then the new EZA Majin Vegeta is good as well. It's just that it's just not doing enough damage overall, but still a very fun team to run. I would say I was thinking that they will stay in the top 10, but there's just other teams that are just more viable at this point in time. But again, very good Vegeta's Family Super Saiyans here coming in. I guess I can even move this into the Super Saiyans All Out Struggle LRGGT, but totally different team. Anyway, go ahead and move on to the next honorable mention. This was very close to be in the top 10, and that's Lord Slug's team, the Demonic Power Inhuman Deeds movie bosses team. The biggest issue with this team here is that the damage output for Goku Frieza, much like Vegeta and some of these other teams on here, it took me forever to beat Goku and Frieza. This is the team actually I brought to beat Goku and Frieza, and the damage output really only came from Tech Broly. Everyone else wasn't doing enough damage. In Broly, because it's running only 170%, wasn't doing much of anything. Even Beerus wasn't doing anything, which was very surprising to me. So anyway, it was just not going well on this team here overall, but everything else except for Goku Frieza, it really dominates, and I enjoy playing the team. It has decent bench strength for what it is, but overall I think it's there though. It's like I have it here like the 12th 13th spot, so it's still right on the edge of being in the top 10. The next team, kind of surprising but not surprising, being that the physical Goku is very old and pretty irrelevant at the time, so it's a very strong weak point. However, still one of the best bench strength in the game, if I can get that out there. It could run kind of everybody, right? You got Beast Gohan, you got Family Kamehameha Gohan. The Gotenks is on here, even though he's only running at 170%. The boosted for limited time units, most of those units you can run on this team, just kind of like everybody you can run here. If you get lucky, if you can get the Tech UI Goku's domain up at time where Goku's dodging here, transformed into Super Saiyan, and he does dodge, if that's 70%, I think you're going to be in good spot. It is completable, right, for Goku and Frieza, but everything else also has problems too because of the physical Goku, right? So not just the hardest event in the game, but a lot of other deficiencies as well, unfortunately. But again, the main slot's fine. It's just the floater position is very rough. Again, if you do want to beat Goku and Frieza, this is the team I did beat Goku and Frieza with. The last one before I dive into the top 10, right, is this one here, is the Time Limit Connected Hope with EZA Super Gogeta. So this team is fantastic, as you can see here. It's just at 180%, and I do have to just give a little mark down on that. If this was a 200% lead, it might even be in the top 5. I probably should not rank it lower. It should really be in the top 10. I just gave it a removal. I was like, you have to have a 200% leader to be in the top 10. I probably should remove that requirement. So that's why I have it here, basically in the last honorable mention spot, because this is such a great team. But I was like, oh, should I just put it in the top 10 because it is fantastic? But I just said, I'm just gonna keep it as an honorable mention. So anyway, with that, those are my honorable mentions, basically like 5, 6, I don't even know how many teams I went over, but ultimately those did not make the top 10. Like you think about, some of these teams are very strong, very good teams, just did not make it. So this is again the previous months, and you can see, Battle of Fate, that's gone, that's gone, that's gone. So you kind of have an idea of what's left. All right, let's go ahead and transition into the top 10. All right, so coming in the number 10 spot, right? And this can be an absolute argument here is, Super Gogeta team at 180% or Super Bosses with the AGL Broly, right? I think this team is fantastic. Again, you can run it with Cell Max. Cell Max limits the bench strength, or if you want to remove Cell Max, it's going to look something like this. And this is kind of where Jiren makes his impact, where you can run Jiren on this team here. And it's still a very, very viable team. I should have put a down arrow on there, by the way. I didn't put a down arrow on Jiren or on Topo. I think both of them have a down arrow, so apologize for that. So for those who are still looking at, hey, they're not at 200%, you're right. But anyway, so both of these teams, how you want to design or develop it is very, very strong, very fun team to run. Had really no problems with Goku and Frieza. So what I did with all these teams was I ran Goku and Frieza 3 times, and I was kind of seeing what the ease of completion of it, because pretty much you can kind of beat Goku and Frieza everywhere. It was just a question of about the ease of it, and this one was actually pretty good. It had no really issues, no major issues. Had some issues with some damage, right? The damage is always kind of a problem, but ultimately this is coming in at the number 10 spot. Super Bosses still holding true from the anniversary, and was this from? Yeah, this was from the anniversary, right? So. It feels like it's been a while, right, since the Gogeta and Broly 9-year anniversary. So coming in at number 9 is actually kind of one of the newer teams on here. I did not expect this team to run this great. This is actually a team that is the Power Absorption Transformation Boost Buhan team. It really didn't have much issues because this right here was the team that I did with to go ahead and complete and beat Broly. And again, just really no issues. Defensive wise, it was fine. Sometimes you can get caught with tech Broly here, but when the domain is up and you get the boost from Buhan, he was doing fine on that end. Now the damage again is sometimes problematic here. Kind of the same thing with the Lord Slug team, but actually had more ease in completing the Goku and Frieza on here. Again, that's not end all be all of all that, but this team also has really nice combinations and really literally a totally different team, right? This is a full Buu team that's also viable as well. So coming in at number 9, a surprise for me was the Tech Buhan team. So let's go ahead and move on to the number 8 spot. Surprise, surprise, right? God Topo is back. So special pose and tournament participants, this team really was not very good. And then you needed a damage dealer, and guess what? We got a damage dealer in Gotenks. So Gotenks rocked it on this team here. Of course, AGL Jiren, once he gets done the standby and he's ready to rock and roll, he can just pretty much do a lot of damage to Goku and Frieza on here. He's great on other events. Yeah, overall, it's a very strong team. It really wasn't viable or really wasn't really good for a long time, especially on global. We didn't have AGL Jiren, and then the Gotenks. The Gotenks and Jiren really boosted this team up quite a bit. Now, if you do want to complete the Goku and Frieza on here, you don't want to run this guy here. You want to run Evolution Vegeta, and he's going to do fine because again, having that revival is huge as well, right? With the Goku and Vegeta there, depending on which one activates first, that revival is going to be very beneficial. I did die a couple of times, right? You do get caught a few times here and there with this team here, but with the revival there, I'm usually generally very good. So I got caught and died, but with the revival, I came back and of course completed any event that I was running, especially the Goku Frieza. So coming in number 8, hey, back in the top 10, got Topo, back at it. So let's go ahead and move on now to the number 7 spot. So the number 7 spot may be a little bit contentious because I did drop quite a bit of spots here, and it is problematic against 17 and Golden Frieza. because of the dodge mechanic on there. However, you can kind of get away with it, you know, as long as they don't super. You are going to take quite a bit of damage. Just got to watch out. You got to have that LRGGT buff going on. And if you do want to complete it, you probably want to bring someone else except besides this guy right here. Just go ahead and, you know, lock up someone else. For example, this is a full, this one here is kind of like a full, full Kamehameha team, so you could bring this guy here, but again, dodging issues to say the least. So you just do have to watch out. But with every other, you know, event, because of the guaranteed dodge when he goes to Super Saiyan Blue, he's just really strong after the fact. And of course, Super Gogeta comes out as well. Then you have Family Kamehameha. That's, you know, if you do that right, that amount of damage can wipe out Goku and Frieza very easily in the last stage. So you just kind of have to get past that non-dodging stage on there, which is sometimes a tall order, but still a very tremendous team here. Movie Heroes coming in at number 7. We're dropping down to number 7. Speaking about LRGGT, making sure that you're staying up on that defense. Well, let's give you 2 of those units on there, but dropping out of the top 5. It's less advantageous. He has definitely some issues in terms of being in kind of the main rotation. That's why I have a triple support team on here. However, again, if you do want to maybe beat Goku and Frieza, you know, you want to, you know, maybe want to bring this bad boy over here instead of Bulma. Bulma can sometimes hold its own, but ultimately this is a fun team to run, or you want to, you know, or you want to remove and change here. But still, LRGGT is a very strong team, a very fun team, and yeah, I think still deserving in a top 10 spot, but not in the top 5. So, all right, moving along into the top 5. This was very difficult for me to rank because I would say 2 of these have sometimes some issues. However, they're just so fun, so good. I just like, all right, what do I do here, right? So it was tough to choose the top 5, but here we go. Coming at number 5 is Kamehameha. That's right, Family Kamehameha. Gohan does survive the chopping block for the top 5 and holds out. Again, I thought I was going to have a lot of issues in terms of Goku and Frieza event, but I really had no issues with this team here. I believe this is the team I completed. No, this wasn't the team I completed. I think this was the team that I completed with. Yeah, this was the team that I completed Goku and Frieza with. This was just some sort of other random team I put on as a slide here. This is fun. This is fun as well. But ultimately, this team here did really well. You know what I did here? I traded out Gohan for this guy here so that you can dodge, right? So you got to make sure if you're bringing in MUI Goku, you bring in Tech Goku as well, or you can even maybe take out GGT because GGT becomes an issue down the road as well. But anyway, Family Kamehameha, very good. You are going to have that turn 1 issue, right, with the Gohan, but ultimately, once you get past that, you know, he's a tremendous, you know, finishing attack. A true finishing attack, in my opinion, in Dokkan. You know, out of all the finishing attacks on standby, this is, you know, one of the better ones out there. Of course, you have LRGGT's finishing attack as well, but I think Gohan is even better, right? Get those Dragon Balls and rock and roll. So coming number 5, staying in there, Kamehameha being in the top 5 makes sense to me. Hopefully you guys agree with that. Now going in number 4, I actually switched this back and forth. I was like Kamehameha 4 or this team number 4. I just kind of gave it to this team because of its quickness. All right, so Majin Buu Saga, LR, Tech Gotenks, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. This is not the team that is very fast. I just kind of built this one here for you guys to look at. This is the team that I completed Goku and Frieza with very quickly, like turn 5. You know, this guy went standby really quick. I was like, ooh, maybe I did that too early, but we were just wiping everybody out. Crits everywhere, dodge everywhere. This guy transformed Was able to see super attacks. Everything just went right. Everything went well. And ultimately, you know, it was just basically kind of a fishing tack by Gohan, right? So it was it was kind of picture perfect, right? It was before this guy became problematic, right? If you wait too long, this guy definitely you want to put him in as a floater down, you know, down later, but ultimately becomes an issue because his damage reduction does dissipate. But because of the quickness of this, and of course I also merged it with this team. So this is another team, of course. Majin Buu Saga is what I think is also maybe just way better in my opinion in the bench strength, but I did merge it with the other Majin Buu Saga 200% lead. So that's one of the reasons why you have leader flexibility in terms of these two teams here. And this is one of the reasons why I have this also in the top 4 here, is due to the fact of the leader flexibility and the different teams that you could run. Very amazing team. They did Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks justice. They did Majin Buu Saga justice here. It is back at one of the top teams. Remember when Majin Buu Saga was like the #1 team for several months, but now, hey, it's returned back here in the top 10, even in the top 5 here in the #4 spot with the Majin Buu Saga Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and of course Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku's team. Again, very, very strong on both ends. All right, let's move on to the top 3. Probably not a surprise, right? Top 3, not a surprise, because it's not. These 3 teams have always either been like top 5. I don't think ever below top 5, these 3 teams. And now with Goku and Frieza, there's basically a reason why #3 team is where it's #3, because it's kind of needed that these units are available for that event, especially if you want to dodge. And then coming in #3, of course, we're talking about Universal Survival Saga Realm of Gods and Trusted Will in Tech UI Goku. Now, yes, I understand you have to, you know, you can't go MUI Goku transformation with the Tech UI Goku until each domain, and it does take a while. Basically, by the end of the fight, you're only just, you know, domaining up 1. Sometimes you can domain up 2, but that's fine, right? That's fine as long as you can dodge in Golden Frieza and 17. You're going to be absolutely fine. So this team here is absolutely tremendous, right? Yes, you don't link very well with Beast Gohan and Beerus on the main rotation, but it is still very, very good. And another thing about this is the locking mechanic. I really didn't talk about this on some of these other teams. The locking mechanic can really disrupt a lot of different teams. I think that these top 3 were in the top 3 is because the disruption is not big of an issue, right? If, you know, Vegeta gets locked up and is into a floater position, no big deal. You have Tech UI Goku in that position, and he's going to link up very well, etc., etc. So same thing, you know, with Beast Gohan and Beerus. They can be floaters, they can be in any position, and they're just going to do fine. So again, you also have that mechanic of revival that's very important in certain situations. And yeah, Tech UI Goku, this team was so good. It was like #5 team for a little bit. Where was it in my last months? Was it actually below top 5 because of this issue? This is also kind of a fun team here, if not for Goku and Frieza, for other teams on here, using the boosted OG, or not OG, the Blue Fusions, or the LR Blue Fusions on here. Oh, by the way, you also have, I gotta throw this out, everybody always says, oh, what about Representative Universe 17? Yes, that is still a very, very great, viable team that you can run on here as well. So now another reason why I got to the top 3 here is also I did merge the Jiren team on here. So some of you guys were like, where's the Jiren team? That's Universal Survival Saga 200%. Correct, and that's where I have it on here in the #3 spot, along with Tech UI Goku, because pretty much is kind of the same team. You can run Topo and Jiren on a rotation, maybe besides, like, here's the question: would you rather run Beast Gohan and Tech Beerus in a rotation, even at 170%, or Topo and Jiren? That's up to you. You guys can, you know, choose that. but you guys could do that if you wanted to. But you couldn't run. Here's the thing: you can't run Beast Gohan and Broly on this team, right? So that's the main difference, and why this is the secondary merge team versus the main team on here. Anyway, so coming number 3, again, not a surprise. Tech UI Goku, one of the top units on there. The leader skill is very, very strong. Yeah, so 2-1. Not a surprise. Kind of boring. So some of you guys might thinking it's going to get dethroned, or these two teams are going to get dethroned. They can switch back and forth, and I had it switched, but I was like, okay, let's run it again. So these two teams actually ran 5 times on Goku and Frieza, and unfortunately Broly lost out. So coming number 2, movie bosses with Tech Broly on here. Fabulous team, great team to run. Damage is strong. You're quickly moving through. Tech Beerus is a support unit on here, right? It's pretty wild, right? You can change it out. The bench strength isn't all that great, but again, you do have a merged team, secondary team here with the Int Broly on here. I think this is a little bit more flexible. Definitely better bench strength. Definitely a little bit more usable in a sense of for you to have a little bit more diversity on here. I think the Beerus and Janemba rotation is fine. So all in all, this actually is a good team to run as well. I did run all these teams here, and in certain situations, it really just Tech Beerus, not Tech Beerus, Tech Broly here. He does get into certain situations where he cannot take that first position damage as greatly as you would want him to, right? So that of course leaves number 1 again, just holding true, like never wanting to let go of his spot here. Beast Gohan's team, here it is in its glory. Ran it 5 times, had no issues. Not once I had an issue with this team in here. Yes, Beast Gohan gets a little bit shaky toward the end there, but just move him from first position to second position, and he's fine on there. Bring up, the defensive boosted up Gohan on here, or hopefully you should have the domain up going with Tech UI Goku. Or even put Beerus in the first position. Beerus just can tank pretty much anything these days. Just all around, very, very good team. Very fun team to run. Is this a different team that I brought for? No, I also just ran this team, not on Goku and Frieza, but just on other teams, just to have some fun with it. So again, great bench strength, great overall unit, 0 issues in terms of just survival. And still number 1. Will it reign supreme after the New Year's units come out on the 28th, 29th, around what that is? Will it still reign supreme as the best team in 2024? It kind of just has to, because it's been number 1 for so long. But here's the recap here. Coming in number 10 is Super Bosses. With AGL Broly. Then the surprise in the number 9 spot is the Tech Buhan and the Power Absorption Transformation Boost team on there. I did put, even though this is Majin Buu Saga, I did put the other Buu on here as a secondary on here. Another surprise coming up strong here is the Gotopo team with Special Pose and what's the other one that he runs? Anyway, with Jiren and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks just boosting up their team. So coming in number 8 there. Then you have Movie Heroes with Gogeta. Don't sleep on the strength, quote-unquote, Movie Heroes leader, semi-leader there as well. If you don't have Gogeta, you may want to run the Super Saiyan 3 Goku there as well. Then you have LRGGT for the number 6 spot. Super Saiyans, All Out Struggle. Forget all the leader skills for him, but Super Saiyans primarily. Then you have Family Kamehameha Gohan of the Kamehameha team. Majin Buu Saga coming back in the top 5 with the number 4 spots with both of these, right? Both are amazing teams. Then in the top 3, kind of no surprise, right? Universal Survivor Saga, Realm of Gods with Universal Survivor Saga Jiren. Then you have Tech Broly and Movie Bosses with Uncontrollable Power secondary there. And you just have Beast Gohan, number 1. Surprise? Not a surprise. on there. So there you have it. Kind of another summary on like the top 15 here, kind of where my thoughts are right now. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking on this final list here. This video went 30 minutes. Hopefully it was well worth it. Did I mess up on a few things? Probably. Let me know in the comment section below, like you normally do anyway. I did take some extra time to run some, some different events, and then run Goku and Frieza a bunch of times on different teams here. And maybe sometimes I got a little bit luckier, but generally speaking, that's why I did it 3 times. I think these are kind of the best teams overall in general, but of course with the addition of Goku and Frieza, kind of where I ended up the rankings here. So let me know again, what is your top 10? Did I mess up on something? If I'm, move it down, tell me why. I like constructive criticism. Just don't tell me my list is garbage. So with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe. Where's my posting here? Where's my slide? Like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Keep on Dokkaning. We'll catch you next time. Later.